It's that voice inside your head. It's that sneaky rat.
And said it's still his fault that she died. Does he know about the tragedy?
You guys know what I'm talking about.
I think he
That voice
does.
that tells you
Oh my
But
god.
he wouldn't assume. I don't think he would assume. We'll see.
Are you good enough to deserve your share of basic human happiness?
Everybody deserves it.
Are you good enough to be okay with who and what you are? I say yes. It doesn't matter what I say. It's your voice, which means you're the only one that hears it, which means you're the only one that can fight it, right?
So, like, what makes you the experts?
I don't think I ever said I was that.
Yeah, but you're the one sitting here, right? Telling us thus and so. Be happy, forgive yourself, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever really hurt anybody?
I killed my daughter.
Damn.
It was July 18th. I was high on cocaine and I was drunk, but I was out of vodka. And this is in Portsmouth, Virginia, where instead of selling liquor in the supermarkets, they have these ABC stores, which close at 5 p.m. And right then it was like 4:42. So I jump in my truck. She's my 6-year-old daughter. She's playing at the end of the driveway. So...
Ah.
How do you not hate yourself?
I did hate myself for a long time. But it didn't stop me from drinking and getting high. It just made it that much worse. Self-hatred, guilt, it accomplishes nothing. It just stands in the way.
Stands in the way of what?
True change.
Those are words that you should hear, Jesse. I can't even imagine being in that guy's shoes.
I can imagine being in anyone's shoes in this series. Maybe Hank.
Maybe Hank.
Maybe Hank. Ah!
Is this a good time to talk?
Oh,
Yeah, come in, please.
need papers.
Why are you doing this? Why are you even thinking this way? Is it to punish me?
I am not punishing you, Walt.
This is punitive, is what this is. We are happily married.
According to who?
I am happily married. I am happy. We're just...
What about her?
Would you even consider... I mean, Jesus. You come in here and you wave these papers in my face when there's a whole other entire side to this thing. You haven't heard any of it at all.
You're a drug dealer.
Huh? She guessed it?
No, what? How?
You bad liar.
What?
How else could you possibly make that kind of money?
You're a stripper?
Marijuana. That Pinkman kid.
You're not even near.
Oh, she's getting close though.
No? Cocaine?
Methamphetamine.
Ding, 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 ding.
I'm a manufacturer. I'm not a dealer.
It's the same. You liar.
Per se. It doesn't mean... No, Skyler.
She was freaking out over like what?
Don't touch her.
A lot of angles to this, okay? It's complicated. All right? So please, listen.
I won't tell you, okay? And I won't tell your children or anybody else. Nobody will hear it from me. But only if you grant me this divorce and stay out of our lives.
No, Skyler.
I mean it. Now let me the hell out of here before I throw up.
Oh.
But You see, maybe Walter, before his cancer reveal, would have reacted the same, but we see his personality mold
There was
in the way.
there was a thought process that went into it. She hasn't had time to think about this.
Nope. And now we see that Walter from the beginning wouldn't have been in the same place as him right now.
Yeah, for him it's been like 2 seasons.
But he's having more pride in Skyler.
Your windshield's broken.
Sorry.
Thank you, Jesse.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor. I see it as a metaphor.
Oh,
Because they both have cracks on their faces when they're sitting in that car.
Strictly temporary. The rehab has helped.
Yeah. I'm done using.
That's excellent.
Is he?
You been following this airplane crash? You know, it was Jane's dad who accidentally crashed them together because he was so torn up.
Okay, but let me stop you right there, all right? You are not responsible for this, not in any way, shape, or form.
No, because I am.
Right? Now, I am very up to date on this thing, probably far more than you are. Many factors at play there.
Yeah?
For instance, there's some sort of collision radar on the jet that may not have been working properly. Now, that's public record. You can look that up.
It's a society's
Really?
problem.
Denial.
Look at the government.
Sure.
You either run from things or you face them, Mr. White.
Well, what exactly does that mean?
It's all about accepting who you really are. I accept who I am.
And who are you?
But actually, he's the one making her go back to drugs. And she made an overdose, so they both killed Jessica Jones.
Yeah, but they deal with the grief differently.
Yep.
Walter tries to deny it. He doesn't want to accept it. Jesse's just like,
Accepting.
I'm the bad guy. Which I don't agree with, but
We'll talk about this later.
yes.
I have an offer that I think will be of interest to you.
I actually am not here to. I'm done.
Sure.
No.
It has nothing to do with you personally.
I'd like you to hear my offer, notwithstanding.
It won't change my mind, I'm sorry.
$3 million for 3 months of your time.
Damn, the shit's selling a lot.
3 months.
That's what it means to work with a businessman. Are you gonna change your answer now?
Oh, his values.
Take this as a...
I have money. I have more money than I know how to spend.
I do.
All I want to
500,000.
have is my family.
Mm-hmm.
The answer is still no.
It's good, but careful.
Oh, Gus is not liking this.
Enjoy your meal.
Fuck you then.
No, but it's...
He is at a crossroads. It all depends. Whenever he comes to this type of choice, it always comes to what he does next. As far as we
You're
like,
talking about what? About who?
what?
You're talking about who?
Walter White.
Walter.
Whenever he comes to like this sort of crossroad, he's always made the bad choice. And
Right
this
now
is
he's
another
doing
one.
the good one, for now.
Is it gonna stick though? It's not the first time he said he was out.
Honestly. If he made a good decision, we wouldn't have 2 more seasons.
¿Está?
And a movie.
¿Lo sintieron? Yes.
So they want to go to Texas.
Well, they just crossed to the U.S. They are after Walter White. If you remember what they put.
Ah, it was before. I thought it was after.
Well, they were dressed
Like
the
in a few
same.
weeks.
They were dressed
yeah.
the same. Oh. Okay.
And now he knows who they are.
The hell's going on in there?
This is the type of guys that they are.
Do they speak? Do
I'm
they...
sure they do. It's just that they prefer to do things silently. It's to create, like, not the legend, but the persona around them, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
Like, they don't have to speak. You know they're
Oh.
dangerous.
Okay.
And they just fucking walked away from an explosion like badasses.
I would have liked just a ball, you know, just a piece of metal just bumping their heads.
That would have destroyed the illusion.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
It's already been an hour?
It's been an hour.
Oh my god, I want to
46
see
minutes.
more.
We will see more. We're watching another episode today.
Yes. So no
Okay.
mask, no mask shit.
No mass business.
No mask business.
So before we start with the meaty stuff, let's talk about the twins. They're not technically twins, but that's what my sister and I have called them for the entire show.
They're not actually
I'm not sure
twins.
they are actually twins, but they're brothers. Like they look too much like each other, like to
Yeah.
not be twins. So we call them the twins. In any case, we didn't see much of them, but in the little bits that we saw, you understand that they're dangerous,
Yes.
and they are.
They don't
coming-
have to have yellow collars to know that they're danger.
No.
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 They don't need that.
They just need, you know.
But I
they
don't
showed
understand
us
why they killed everyone. Like I was,
My
the little
guess-
boy was kind of, aw.
Well, my guess is they recognized them. He recognized that they were.
Yeah,
dangerous.
when they spotted the skulls, like
Yeah.
you're all done.
And honestly, I could also say they don't give a shit about killing, so it could have just been to erase any, you know, erase
Witnesses.
anyone who would have seen them come from.
Any witnesses,
Yeah.
you kill them.
So, do you have an idea who they might be? Or why they know Walter White, or why they might be coming for him?
Maybe they're Tuco's cousins.
Good guess. Very good guess. Well, good guess because it's true that they
Tuco's
don't.
family.
In this business, he doesn't know many people, Walter White.
Yes.
So-
How do they know him?
Tuco is one guy who could have, and actually, well, considering you could have pieced it together with what we've seen already, I could tell you like right away because people told me in the comments, but you remember in season 2 when Tuco was dealing with Walter and Jesse, he said something about, we're going to Mexico, we're going to make meth together, my cousins are coming.
Are you spoiling me right now?
That was said in season 2.
But the dots, you need to tie them, and you tied them for me.
No, but you just mentioned that they could be tied to Tuco, so I'm just adding in that they could definitely be tied
But I
to
do
Tuco.
remember I said cousins. So, but you're spoiling me right now.
No, I'm not spoiling.
Leave a comment if she's spoiling me.
People have told me this in the comments when I watched it too, so that's why I'm telling you. And you pieced it together. You basically said it. The first guess you made was
No.
that Tuco's
Guys,
cousin.
I'm sorry right now. Chris Kaler was
Fuck
doing an
up.
apologizing video for the behavior she's having right now, spoiling my watching of Breaking Bad.
It's not a spoil. He said his cousins were coming, and then you got 2 Mexican dudes coming. I'm like, it makes sense.
But how do they know? How do they recognize him?
How do they recognize Walter White?
Yes, they were
Well-
having a big. Oh, was it an ofrenda for Tuco?
I think it was just like asking the god of death, like to help them get
Yeah,
rid
but
of
maybe
Walter
at a
White.
funeral or at the El Dia de los Muertos for the death of Tuco.
I couldn't say.
And maybe the granddad, the uncle,
The uncle,
was
he wasn't there.
their dad of the twins.
I'm not saying
It was
anything else if you're
Tuco's uncle.
In any case, I think it's just a shrine that they keep there because they were not the only ones doing a thing to get there. They just showed up in that random village and did, the ritual to go put Walter's picture. So
They didn't crawl enough.
So they are after Walter, and from what we've seen this episode, they are dangerous. So this is gonna be exciting.
Yes.
Very exciting.
So that's for the twins. We will see them more. I do believe they're the bad guys of season 3. So we'll see. Now
the meaty stuff.
I will go with Jesse. Jesse, I think, is having the question he did for is a rehab teacher. I don't know.
Is a counselor.
Yeah, is a rehab counselor.
His mentor
was kind of a normal reaction. Like, who do you think you are telling us what we need to do, or do you know what we've been through? And mostly, a lot of people are doing the same things, but you don't need to pass the same things. You don't need to pass these same things to know that you need to move on and accept everything you've been through. You understand?
Mean, someone who hasn't been through this could definitely understand what they need is to, stop grieving and beating themselves up over what happened and move on. But it's true that for someone who's going through this, to be told by someone who's been through this, that this is the best way, makes more sense than to have someone pretend to understand.
You can, like, it's showing that you understand what I'm going through, but you don't need to pass through these things to know that you are still a good person who made bad decision maybe. Yeah. But like in Jesse's case,
he did not understand the advice the right way.
No, I do. It's not all your fault. Like the both of the guys were involved in Jessica Jones' death. Jane's death.
But he has no idea. And as far as he knows, he basically pushed Jane towards addiction again, and she overdosed. That's it. He doesn't know that if Walter had not shown up that night, she would be alive. Maybe not better off, but alive.
Maybe yes, but maybe not. Like, he pushed Jesse, but if he would have been through a tantrum or a psychosis, like if he was having trembling.
He would have been shaking, basically.
If he would have been shaking and he would have pushed
but that's
Jane,
asking
maybe.
A lot of ifs. We know what happened, so we don't.
But you're still with the if Walter didn't went through the room.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We know he showed up, though. If
we know he showed up,
and we know that
he pushed Jesse, who pushed Jane, and she had an overdose.
The thing is, we know that he showed up. And the thing is, again, Jane knew what to do with drugs. Yeah. Like, she was aware that they needed to be on their sides in case they threw up. So she took the precaution, but Walt made that irrelevant. So right now, and what we really need to understand is not necessarily what happened, whose fault it is. Because when I watch a show like this, it doesn't matter what happened. The facts don't matter. What matters, or what's important when it comes to discussion and stuff, is how the characters see it. With Jesse, he believes, like, I don't care if it's true or not, because sometimes people will react like this. Like, I'll be saying that Jesse thinks it's his fault, Walter thinks it's his fault, and then people in the comments will be like, it's not Walter's fault, and I'm like, I don't care about that. What I care about is that Walter right now feels guilty for letting Jane die, and then, leading to the explosions of the plane.
I think it's Jane's fault. She died because she started heroin again. I think it's Walter's fault, and I think it's Jesse's fault. It's everyone's fault.
But those are the facts. But then if we focus on their psyche, what they believe, we can analyze what's going on in their heads and why they are feeling this way. Like, Jesse strongly believes that he's the sole reason for what happened. And now with the planes and stuff, he adds to the guilt. But because of the rehab, he chose to be like, you know what? I'm accepting all the hate, and instead of beating myself up over it, I'm just rolling with it. So now he's kind of created this image of himself. He looks at himself in the mirror and he's like, this is the bad guy. This is the evil who killed Jane and led to the accident. That's how he sees himself. And he's accepting it, but I believe it's very... That's what he said.
But that's what he said. He said that he's accepting his guilt, that he killed Jane. But I don't know if he still thinks he's a monster.
He literally, you were talking when he said that, but he literally looked at Walter and said, I've accepted who I am. And who are you? I'm the bad guy. He said it. He looks at himself and he's accepted that he's the reason for her death and the explosion and stuff. So he sees himself as the bad guy. And I think it's unhealthy as fuck.
Yes, because it's just, you're not a bad guy. You're a guy who's made bad decision.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like...
If he would have killed Jane, he would have been a guy who's made bad decisions. But it's not even... he didn't even make a mistake. But no, yes, you know...
He made a mistake, yeah.
Right, he made a lot of mistakes. Mm-hmm. But no, it's not your fault that Jane's dead.
And that's the thing, like now that he sees himself as the bad guy, what does he do next? Because when you say you're the bad guy, you kind of erase a chance for change and improvement. So what is he going to do? If he accepts that he's the bad guy, then that opens the door for a lot of bad shit that he could be doing next.
Yes, it's not, but it's an acceptation, but not a good acceptation. You need to accept not that you killed her, but that it happens and you need to move on.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that I think he got the advice, but he understood it the wrong way. Like he's using it the wrong way.
Yeah, you asked your counselor, did you, well, what did he say? Did you ever hurt someone very, very much? Yes, I killed my daughter. So it's like, I know what you've been through. So you can move on, you can accept who you are as a person, that you made bad choices, but that doesn't make you a bad guy.
Yeah, he needs to get there though, because he doesn't believe that.
And even, I think the counselor, maybe it was a good intervention, but with Jesse, it went really, really wrong. Yeah. So it's not about who I am. I don't have to go through your shit to tell you that you are still a good person who deserves to be loved.
Because that's his thing. He's always believed that he wasn't good enough, that he wasn't loved, by people around him, that he always screws up. That's what the people tell him. So now that he's actually screwed up, he's just being like, well, that's who I am, moving on. But that means he doesn't deal with his grief. He doesn't accept. I mean, he's just pushing through the consequences.
Yeah, that's right. He's not moving on. He's just, taking it all in his back.
Yeah, he's taking all the guilt. Like he's carrying it with him.
Yes, he's carrying it.
Which is very unhealthy.
No, you need to leave that behind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. It's like having a stone chain.
He's like Atlas,
He's like having a stone chained to his foot, and like
instead of
breaking the stuff and walking freely, he's just taking the stone and like walking with it.
Yeah, he's accepting it, which is not good. He thinks it's his way of being at peace with who he is, but we both know that it's not, and it's gonna be worse.
No, but like a rock, you know that one day you'll break down and you'll take the rock off, and you need to be free of it.
Yeah. This is like Jesse's character goes places, which, makes me really feel bad for him. And I am a Jesse lover, but I can step back and see his mistakes as well. But it's true that whenever I need to talk about how the character goes, I look like a fangirl. But I think it's because the character is so well written and acted very well, too. Like, Aaron Paul is doing an amazing job. Both him and Bryan Cranston. Yeah. They are doing so good with emotions. Gus is so subtle. Gus is so subtle. You look at him and he's smiling, but you see the tick in his eye, like, He's very good.
Yes, but like you said, you said something about Gus. We finished about Walter and Jesse.
Well, we didn't really talk about Walter, but we'll bring him back.
Okay, but with Gus in the scene, like he's talking businesses. They are talking business, and when he asked for he offered the $3 million. He was like happy and haha, you're gonna go in my business. And when Walter refused it, you see, yes, it was tinkling. He hated it because it was a good business. And then Walter talked about criminals and things, and I do believe that it's threatening for Gus because he showed his true self to Walter. So now he knows that Gus is a criminal. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this right now. I don't want to talk about this.
I was about to say, you think that Gus might be threatened that Walter might
still know that his true identity is a drug dealer,
and that
the best drug dealer in the country.
About it. He could say something, maybe.
Yeah, but maybe. But when Walter still refuses it, he turned back to his character. Enjoy your meal. Bye.
Oh, yeah, he's a businessman. You know.
He was not. He was not the drug businessman. He was the manager.
No, but that's the thing. As a person, he is a businessman, so it needs to stay business. You don't. I've seen the show, but. I'm pretty sure you also have that feeling that you don't want to see Gus lose it. I think he's got this thing, and it's the actor, but I think he's got this thing in his eye that makes you believe that this man is nice, but underneath all the nice, there's danger there, you know? And he's always dressed in yellow as well, you know? But at the very least, when Walter said, no, I'm not going to do your business, it's true. It's a loss of an opportunity for him because this is the best meth around. So he was mad at it.
He was upset.
But he wasn't going to lose it because he's a businessman, you know? Business comes first.
Yes,
he's a gentleman.
And he was in character, so he couldn't break out like too codeine. He was in his facade. He was in Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah.
And then when he refused it, the business was closed. He couldn't do anything more right now. So, shake hands. Enjoy your meal.
And I have a feeling
he turned back to, I'm a manager who's talking with you about the food.
Yeah.
That's it, bye.
And I have a feeling that he was disappointed because he thought he might have read Walter perfectly. Like, you know, when Walter said, I'm done and stuff, his answer was, here my proposal. And he asked $3 million. He gave him, like, the offer for $3 million. I think he expected that Walter was greedy. You know, I think he saw that he read this character perfectly like we think we do. And he's like, I know this man deep down. I know what he wants.
He does it for the money. And that was his purpose to do it.
So,
it's not for Jesse, you could talk about how great you are and this thing.
But that's the thing.
Walter, money.
He thought he read his character perfectly, which is why he gave him the appeal of money. And when Walter still said no, which is interesting because he pushed his point. That's great. And when he said no, Gus felt disappointed and angry maybe that he misread the character of Walter White.
Maybe.
But did he though? Because like you said, there's still 2 seasons after this, so...
Yes, and I didn't saw a lot about Gus. I saw the manager. I saw maybe 1 scene or 2 asking Walter to do the dealing.
Yeah.
And that's it. We saw him at the DEA.
True. It feels like there's more to the character because he's bigger than just 4 or 5 scenes.
He's like more than, like we saw more with his reputation than what we saw.
We heard more about him than what we've seen.
We heard more about the guy than the guy himself. Ooh, wow.
Yeah. In any case, we'll see. But we both don't believe that Walter's going to stay out of the business.
Walter!
Let's go back to Walter.
No. Hey. He's going to go back in business. But what is going to bring him back? Maybe if his life is brought back together. If Skyler comes back, maybe he's having his family so he can still run the business.
Speaking of, the truth came out. Most of the truth.
Finally.
Because, my sister just came back, I think. Yes. Don't pay attention to the sounds. Anyway, Skyler learned some of the truth because she doesn't know about the murders and she doesn't know about the business and stuff. She knows that Walt dealt meth, which is huge. She took it well, I would say. She says she's not saying anything to Hank nor
She
the
could
kids.
freak out. Yeah, but in exchange that he signs the divorce
Yes.
papers.
Do you think he will? You think he's
He
gonna
doesn't
sign?
want to. He doesn't want to
No.
leave his family behind. He's a family guy.
Yep.
Still first.
And Walter
And
hasn't
then
really. Walter doesn't really like when people take away his things. You know.
There's a lot of pride lost in
Mm-hmm.
a divorce.
Yep.
Maybe for him. And his pride, you know.
The things
all
at
his
home.
pride.
Yeah. And I mean, Skyler is not taking. You know, she's not going through this unscathed either because you know Flynn is fighting her over this. Walter Jr. He's really against it, which I understand. Like, I'm a child of divorce. My parents weren't married, but I've been through a situation where, you know, both parents are at each other's throats.
Angry
and
at
stuff.
each other, and you're in the middle of the battle.
The difference was
What's wrong?
that, or my parents, my mom used to basically say bad stuff about our dad, so we would be on her side of the fight. And
But Walter is.
No, that's
the
the
parents did it quite well to not put the children in between.
But
Like
that's
Walter is
the
not in the
difference.
middle of
Yeah.
something.
that's both the difference, and at the same time might be also a good and a bad thing, because Flynn, because they're not trying to explain things to him, doesn't understand what's going on, so he makes assumptions, and he believes that since his mom kicked his dad out, he's the victim, she's
the bad
person. So that's the thing, like in my situation, I would see my mom try to, you know, bring things around and, you know, make herself into the victim, but then we would automatically think our dad was the victim in the situation because he wasn't saying anything, you know? So it's a very complicated thing. You don't understand what's going through your parents. There's a lot of stuff that you don't know about them and what's going on between them. And in this case, like, Flynn knows nothing. So
that's right.
So I understand where his anger comes from. I'm very sad, though, that Skyler's the one suffering because she did nothing. A lot of people hate her, I have to say. A lot of people hate her.
I don't hate her.
Yeah, I don't hate her either.
She has every right to be angry at Walter. Like the one you married, the one you engage yourself to love for your life. It's a two sides. Like you fais confiance, voyons. You trusted him.
Mm-hmm.
You trusted him for his whole life, and now you're learning about a secret life. And even before the methamphetamine shit and the drug dealing, she knows about it. She saw every lies that Walter put in front of her.
Yeah.
And how can someone who loves you can do such a thing?
Treats you like that. I agree.
Yes.
The lie hurts. In my opinion, the lie hurts worse than the meth. Even though, like, the meth is still huge. The fact that he didn't.
I would have loved to react like, all of this for meth. I would have helped you. No.
But we will see, like, how she handles the truth and how Walter reacts to the whole
we'll
thing.
see about it.
Yeah, and Walter, what?
Walter?
Yeah, Walter is going through, like, we talked more about him in the episode, but he's going through his own share of guilt. But his way, I love how both he and Jesse are dealing with the guilt differently. Walt is very...
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It's like he's downgrading it and telling it's nothing, you need to move on. And Pinkman is taking it all. Like,
He accepts it.
it's
Where,
both ways are toxic.
But that's because I think Walter, you know, when he said to Gus that he wasn't a criminal, that's not who he is. And I'm like, but the thing is, man, you've done things a criminal does.
Yeah.
So you're in denial. You are a criminal.
He is in denial.
Yeah.
It's the first step.
He likes
Agreed.
to say that he's the chemist. You know, he's not a dealer. He just made the
Guilt
meth.
is also a step to grief. And most of the time you can go past a step and go back to another one.
Maybe he's grieving what exactly? Jesse's grieving,
His life,
but Walter,
maybe? Maybe the crisis too?
who he used to be. Who he
No,
wanted to be.
the plane crash and everything, the events of the tragedy.
And the
Like
fact
he's
he
grieving.
did let Jane
He's in-
die.
Yes, and it's all started from there. The series of events is grieving about it. So right now the consequences are 150 people are dead.
167, yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for
They
the
repeated it a few times.
Yes, I know, but I forgot about the 17s more. So the series of events is grieving about it.
Yeah.
Like it's an event, people died, and it's a shock. And when you have a shock, a guilt about this, it is like grieving about it. He's in denial. Maybe he was angry. He was angry when he burned the money. We saw him being guilty in his speech about.
He
we need
feels
to move
guilty,
on.
so he tries to downplay it. Yeah, it wasn't
Yes.
that bad.
And maybe
Sure.
it's really rare that we saw Walter being sad, like in the depression zone. And after we have the acceptation.
We will see if he ever gets there. One
Yes.
thing I really love this episode is the two metaphors that we got with the windshield and the eye.
The
Because-
windshield, I saw it more as like Pinkman came from the rehab and he's watching Walter's life and it's all
No,
broken.
but just like the colors that I'm gonna point out to this, like this is something they use a lot, the windshield, as a reflection of how the characters inside are, you know. Right now, Jesse, you know, there were two cracks, you know, a
we
smaller
saw
one.
it before.
No, but it's something that they like to use. Like, I'm not assuming anything here. I know that they use the windshield, kind of like they use the colors to tell a message, you know? And you see it with, like, the bigger crack being on Jesse and the smaller crack being on Walter, but both characters are broken, and they need to work on themselves to repair it. And the eye is something else, you know? It's not a coincidence that he found an eye and he keeps it around. It's a physical representation of what happened, of his grief, of his guilt. So he keeps it around.
And he's carrying it.
He's carrying it with him. So that was little details and stuff that, or you know, I love how they still have him cut the crust of his sandwich because it's something that Crazy 8 had him do, and he keeps it with him. Kind of like Walter likes to pretend that nothing happened and he's not a criminal or anything, but he keeps these memories and this influence from all the bad stuff he's done with him, and he carries it with him. It changes him in many ways. It's very subtle. It's well, very subtle. It was clearly like there was a scene where he cut the crust, so we know about it, but it's
I
little
didn't
details.
remember it. It was a long time
Well, that's
ago.
why I'm here. I'm here to be your brain and to be your memory.
Okay.
But it's little things that they
Yeah.
put in the episodes like this that I think is just brilliant, because we've been saying that this show never does anything and forgets about it. They keep everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like, we're season 3 and we still have stuff from season 1 that comes back.
It's a series that never forget about where we came from and where we're going through
Yep.
to go somewhere. Yeah.
Series done right.
Yep.
And
I wanted to talk about something after.
Yes.
The characters of Hank and Mary.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to upset anyone, but I find them kind of annoying.
You're not the only one.
They want to help, they want to support, but they're not really supportive.
They don't know how.
No, that's right, they are unable, that's right, that's right. Like, yes, I find them annoying. They're trying to help, I know, but they did it in a wrong way, or it's not really the things they need to hear about.
But at the same time, like, ask yourself how someone would really react, not knowing what we know, because we know they're not reacting right or saying the right things, because we know the truth behind.
But actually,
Walter.
when someone is going through something, you don't need to speak a lot. You just need to
But
hear
some people cannot
and listen.
handle the silence, though. I've been there.
So
when I
don't
was a
support
kid.
someone if you're not ready to hear the silence and the things.
No, but that's the
people
thing.
need to talk about.
I think they have a very sort of childish reaction to this.
Yep.
When I was a kid,
Immature.
well, yeah, but when I was a kid and I had a friend who was constantly depressed, you know who I'm talking about. In any case, I was trying to help that person out, and I remember she was talking to me about personal stuff when it came to her parents, and I was sitting there not knowing what to say, but because I didn't know what to say and she was clearly looking for an advice, I found myself just saying anything to make this less awkward, you know? So some people still act like that when they're adults, and I think that's how Hank and Marie are.
Maybe I do believe people are doing this, but it's immature. It's an immature reaction.
Well, it's a reaction of someone who doesn't know better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. You need to learn from the things you need. You need to learn how to do it properly.
Yeah, I think...
And it's something you learn in your life. No?
True. One day my English teacher, weirdly enough, was asking us, I don't remember why, but we were in an advanced class for English, so at this point we were not talking grammar, we were talking philosophy for some reason. And in Cégep, yeah.
Ah.
And my teacher was asking for, I don't remember why, but he was asking if a friend of yours came to you and asked, my life is in shambles, I don't know where I'm going, I have nothing left, what would you say? And so a lot of us were like, well, I'd be like, you don't understand the situation, so you'd be saying stuff like, I'm here for you. And the teacher was like, well, sometimes saying nothing is better than saying something, Because what does that mean, I'm here for you? It means nothing to that person who's going through all of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my English teacher thought he was a philosopher, but he had a point.
He was actually.
He had a point.
Philosophia is...
Philosophy?
Yeah, it comes from two Greek words, talking about how it's about thinking and thinking about... Google it.
Google what philosophy means.
But it's about thinking about our life and what is good, what is wrong. So everybody's a kind of philosopher. So even an English teacher from the college.
Mm-hmm. Apparently.
So yes, and he's quite right.
So yeah. In any case, that was a little tidbit of history. That was episode 1 of season 3. I'm very, very excited that we got to this.
I can't wait to watch episode 2.
This is a huge season, man. This is a huge season. Like I said, when we began this, season 1 is good. Season 2 is better. Season 3 is even better. And then when you get season 4 and 5, be ready. Because now you're gonna get to the stuff that...
I want to get into action right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah?
It was a good episode. I didn't want...
We needed to settle.
Yes. It was settled. It was kind of slow. It was a slow episode. Nothing really happens.
But you had the twins basically tell you something.
The tension was coming, so I want action now.
Well, we will get to it next episode, maybe.
Yes. So thank you guys very much for watching our episode.
Yes.
Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you want to talk about some things. Skyler answers most of the comments.
Yes, I do. Well, I read them. I read all of them. And I heart them. But if I don't heart your comment, it basically means that YouTube's application just messed up and I didn't see it. But I read everything. So there you have it. If you want to see the next episode right away, it's on Patreon already, so you can check it out right now. The link is in the description.
Or wait next week for the next episode.
Yes.
Bye.